Just a picture of the train. For your birthday.
So much.
Alright.
Have a safe flight.
San Diego.
Traveling harder than either of us.
Savage.
Nobody can keep up with you.
Just two chickens. There's a couple chickens. It's just a couple of chicken brothers, babysitters.
Alright guys, back at the cribby after we dropped my mom off, who's a savage, just flying to San Diego on a one-way right now. Just pretty much kicked it at the cribby and did all the same stuff as yesterday. I didn't want to film too much because I knew this was going to take a while, but I'm going to get right into these Q&As. You guys sent me a bunch of them, so I'm just going to start knocking them out. Where are you from? Where did you grow up? I'm from Colchester, Connecticut. Grew up in the woods, jumping off cliffs, riding skateboards, which leads me to another question. When did you start skateboarding? I started skateboarding when I was 9 years old. I'm 27 now, so pretty much 18 years ago. Have you ever skied? Before I even could make decisions on my own, I want to say I was 2, maybe 3 years old. My parents strapped me into skis without even any knowledge of my own, and I would think I was at Killington, top of the mountain, first run. Nuked it top to bottom, had no issues, and I skied till I was probably 8 years old. And then the first time I actually snowboarded was at Powder Ridge, and I was in 8th grade, so I want to say I was maybe 13 years old. And since then, I probably rode maybe 3 to like 10 times a season up until I was 19. And then when I was 19, that's when I really feel like I actually started snowboarding, because I moved to Mount Snow and my days went from 10 to 60 the first year, and then 120, and then after that I've just been traveling, and probably for 4 years, from like when I was 20 to 24, I was on snow at least 300 days a year. How did I get sponsored? Making videos and putting them on the internet. SponsorMe.com, anything you can think of, just making good videos, doing a lot of good tricks, and putting them out on the internet for people to see, and companies will find you. Just put the work in. How old am I? 27. Where do I mostly ride? Corinthia Parks at Mount Snow in Vermont is my home mountain. On the Corinthia team there. Who are my favorite snowboarders and skateboarders? That is such an insane question. I want to say that there's so many little things about so many different snowboarders and skateboarders that I love, but I want to say like maybe Torstein's swag is what originally got me into snowboarding, so I got to throw him out there, and Haldor for just the non-stop ultimate send. So those would be maybe my 2 favorite snowboarders, but there are so many snowboarders that I look up to. And for skating, I want to say my number one influence back in the day was Andrew Reynolds and those frontside flips, and P-Rod and his switch game. What am I doing after Mount Snow closes, and what are my summer travel plans? When Mount Snow closes, I am headed west for sure. I usually leave my schedule completely open and decide things like within 48 hours of them happening, but once we find out where Super Park is, that's in the schedule. A lot of Mexico surf trips, van conversion. I'm going to drive my truck, I believe, from the East Coast back to the West Coast just to make a road trip fun. And then when I get there, convert the van into the ultimate living space and just pretty much nonstop Mexico trips, which is another question. A muchos de ustedes han estado preguntándome por qué mi teléfono está en español, and my phone and my computer is in Spanish because I've spent years and years traveling and studying Spanish for myself outside of high school, not actually going to college, and I spend a lot of time in Spanish-speaking countries, and I've had a lot of Spanish-speaking friends, so you'll find out so much more of that when we do head west and we start to make trips down into Mexico. I will break down that a lot more, but it's been years and years and years of your boy putting in extreme amounts of work. Nobody has been asking me, but you should all be asking me, who is Mike Dawson? Mike Dawson is the ultimate legend. He is, I could literally almost call him my photographer, but he's one of my best friends, and I want to claim within 17 months he's going to be the top snowboard photographer in the industry. And yeah, he pushes me like crazy, and I feel like I push him to wake up earlier, and he makes me ride better, and we are just back and forth, super motivating to each other. So definitely check out my homie Mike Dawson. He is a living legend. Van questions and cost of living in van. I have a 2006 Ford E350. It's got 80,000 miles on it. I got it for about $7 grand last year, and I think my insurance for the whole year was like average insurance, 60, 70 bucks a month, and that is my total cost of living in it. It really only gets like 12 miles to a gallon, but when you have 3 of the homies in it, splitting gas is super mellow. My best trick on a snowboard, probably any 12, either front or back 12. It's been a minute since I've done them, but yeah, probably back 12 at Super Park like 3 years ago was maybe the best trick I've done, or cab dub 10 at Mount Hood like 5 years ago. Either that or a fat back one. How long have I been growing that flow? On and off for 6 years, maybe 7 years. I did like 3 or 4 years and then chopped all my hair off and donated like 20 inches 2.5 summers ago. And that just keeps growing back, really. I like long hair, so probably always gonna have long hair. How do you get the orange Corinthia stickers? You get the orange Corinthia stickers by being on the Corinthia Pro team. I'm sorry. Will you be going to Powder Ridge again next year? Yes, I will be going to Powder Ridge next year. Next year I'm gonna try to travel a bunch with my van to different mountains, and Powder Ridge, as you know, is my stomping grounds. It's the first mountain I ever rode at, so I'm definitely gonna be going there. What is my camera equipment? I literally only have an iPhone 7, which is what I do all my audio recording with, and the GoPro 5 and the GoPro 6, the only cameras that I have, which I usually use when I'm surfing or snowboarding to film. But I am definitely in the market for a camera right now. If you guys have any advice on good vlogging cameras, definitely leave a comment and let me know. How often did I snowboard as a beginner? I told you guys that it went from 8 to 10 times a year for the first like 10 years up until I actually moved to Vermont, and then it went to 30, 60, 120, 250, and yeah, it's been at least 150 for the past couple years. What is my favorite thing about my life right now? Brian BBS. Heavy. I had to think about that before I even sat down, and it really only took me a couple seconds to realize that the vlog is hands down the best thing about my life right now. I've been traveling on my own, and I feel like I've been living the life that I wanted to for so long that it almost seems selfish in a way to not put it out there to the world. And now that I've decided to take an extra 4 or 5 hours every day and make a video out of my prior day and release it to you, that just the fact for some of you that it is possible and that you get a behind the scenes view on how it's possible or what you have to do to make it happen is unbelievably motivating for me. And I feel like I've never gotten so much fulfillment from doing something that I love than actually being able to show it to you guys and show you that you can do it as well. So 100% favorite thing about my life right now is the vlog. And I want to close it out with probably the most consistent question that people have for everybody who does anything outside of the 9-to-5 world is how do you afford to travel year round? And it's such a deep, detailed question, but it's a different way of life, and you have to make an insane amount of sacrifices. And I want to start off by saying that it is not for everybody. A lot of people even think that they might want it, but they're just not willing to live in such an uncomfortable state for such a long period of time. I don't spend money on like almost anything, and I go out all the time with my friends, and we'll go out to bars and they'll spend $100 in a weekend or $100 in a night, and I just go out and I try to have the same amount of fun, except I drink water the whole time. When we stop at gas stations, I don't buy candy bars. I don't waste my money on Red Bulls or anything like that. If I'm spending $1, I know exactly where it's gonna go and it's gonna benefit me. Also, I have to shout out pretty much friends make it all happen. Having friends in different countries and states all over the world that are willing to let me crash on their couch, or vice versa. If I have an apartment and I want some homies to come and stay with me, they can crash on my couch. It's a giant circle of whoever's got enough that they can offer their friends some. Then when you're hooked up, hook your homies up. So shout out to all my friends who let me crash with them. There's a million different ways that I save money. I buy my van up front in cash after working as long as I can to save money so that I don't have to make car payments. I have 0 bills. I don't even have a cell phone bill right now. I have nothing to pay for whatsoever. I pay my van insurance off for the year, and my rent is paid off for the year. I can just park my vehicle on the side of the road and it costs me nothing. Things like going out to eat where you save money, I do my best to 8 out of 10 meals make at my house, like purchased from food at the farmer's market that's as cheap as I can get it. It's just like little tiny steps that you got to make every single day. If I see a penny on the ground, I pick it up. If I do that every day for years and years and years, you're coming up with hundreds of dollars at the end. So it's tiny little things that make you save your money and not blowing your money on ridiculous stuff. It's a lot of sacrifice too, and you can't buy things that you want, or you can't go places or spend money on stuff that all your other friends are doing. But when it comes down to it, you have money to book a flight somewhere cool. And even over all that is, I usually travel to like third world countries and countries that are super cheap. Like I went to Indonesia last summer, and everything that you get there is 1/5 of the price. So as long as you can get enough money to buy the plane ticket, it's almost more expensive not to go to these countries and not to travel. So you just got to really be smart with your money, and you got to be motivated towards knowing that you want to travel or you want to go somewhere, and setting a goal, saving that money, and making it happen. All right, that is probably such a long video, but you guys asked for so many questions, and I did my best to answer them all. Hope you guys are all stoked. If you have any more in the future or now, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below with anything you want to know. I love interacting with you guys, and super stoked on all the support through all the vlogs. Tomorrow, your boy is heading to Kirkwood. I'm going to try to do some turns on corduroy with this feeble little body of mine, and hopefully just feel good and be able to ride a little bit and be grateful for that. So much love. See you guys tomorrow. Cvlogs.
Yeww.